Alright, let's get into this week 9 summary. Let's go fast. So firstly we have topics, read if you want. Yeah, trig vectors, more like vectors aren't, well they shouldn't come up until, there's nothing like mandatory that we have to do for vectors until next year. Because we're going to learn some more stuff, but it's not going to be in the, it's not required in the A-level exam, it's just stuff to help you. And then the trig stuff is just, you're going to have to get used to it. If you're struggling with trig, then you just got to practice because there's lots of it. Next, for the assignment, just read, yeah, this is the stuff about the assignment. It's just a big, like, kind of recheck on a lot of stuff. It's not very interesting of an assignment, so let's get into it. Alright, first we've got these integrals. This is just simple stuff, I'm not going to go through it, it's just do the integrals and then substitute the values in. Part B, you can either say it diverges or it's improper. That's, I think, the correct word is improper, because it's, you see I drew the graph here, you can't find the area there because it infinitely goes up. So you could say the area is infinite, but you don't actually know the area because you can't measure the area. So that's called an improper integral. And yeah, move on. So solving for x is, I don't know why they even included this, to be honest. You don't even have to really, obviously you would have to show working if it was an exam, but like to actually solve it, you probably don't actually have to do any working. Part B, it's just putting it in terms of y, and then so that helps you with part C. You put y into it, and then you put the substitution that it gave you in the previous question, put it in, solve for y, and then resubstitute, get the x values. This was like an evil question. I don't know why they put this here, because like it's literally just a waste of 20 minutes or however long it takes you to find the perpendicular bisector. I don't think anyone should be struggling with this. Anyway, next question. Discriminant question, discriminant simultaneous equations. So you set them equal to each other, or you put, oh no, I set this equal to y, and then substitute y into here, do all the expanding, do the discriminant, solve for k, and then give the coordinates of the points of intersection where you just substitute k back in, and then solve, and then that gives you the points of intersection. You know it's 1 point because it told you that earlier. Next question, we have some trig stuff. I think, was it this question? I know there's a different trig question that I kind of just gave up on, but anyway, so you combine the fractions, do all the stuff, then you factorize 1 plus cos x out of everything, and then that basically just gives you the answer. Then you set it equal to -4/√3 for the next question, solve, do all the stuff, do all the values, you get these answers. Remember, it's from -2 pi to 2 pi, so just remember to include those negative values. Part C is just asking you to solve this random equation. You just turn the sine squared into 1 minus cos squared. Some like classic GCSE further maths question. You get these answers. Question 6. This is a parametric equation. I don't know why they asked you to do this. I guess it's just like building you up to do parametric equations. But also I don't know why. Oh no, question. Sorry, I haven't put the question numbers here. So for this question, you have to set both sides equal. You have to get you have to eliminate theta, which means you have to get both sides in terms of the same trig function, so that you can set them equal to each other. So for this one, I said the sine squared theta equals 1/y squared, so I rearranged cosec into sine squared, and then here I just turned cos squared into 1 minus sine squared, and then set them equal to each other. Right, the next question is, the next question is partial fractions. I use whatever method you want. I'm using cover-up method, but in the exam I would maybe just use a normal method. You would use cover-up to check or something like that, because you need to show what you're doing. But if you should know, if you're doing the cover-up method, you should know the proof for it, so you can just write that instead. It's not that long. Next question, you just do this, you solve it like normal. I used some weird method to get the x plus 2, but you can just do it normally. You don't have to do it how I did it. Next question, we got some factor theorem. You in the exam you would have to actually show substituting 1 in gives you 0, but I can't be bothered. Then it tells you to divide it and factorize, so you do that, use whatever method you want. Same thing with this question, it's the same thing. Substitute -1, divide. Part C, this is just something completely different. This is just a lot of algebra. There's probably some like cool way to do it where you can do some stuff and substitute, but I just brute forced it, expanded it, and then solved for both of them. And then told you to do the quadratic inequality for it, which is just drawing the graph out. Right, question 9. This question was interesting because the answers are all the wrong way around, so I had to kind of figure it out here. It's just partial fractions, and there were some much more difficult things here. So for this one, because you have an x, you can factorize, this is x cubed, x plus 2. And then this is 3 different linear factors. So it would be x plus 2, and then x squared, x cubed, because that's what you have to do when you have something squared on a denominator. And then I just cover up for this. And you can kind of notice the trend here where the x, like, it's decreasing in powers of 2, and this is increasing in powers. But anyway, next question. This is just normal partial fractions, normal stuff. Gives you this. Part C, you have to do some algebraic division. I think this is the question I gave up on because all the answers are the wrong way around. And also because I just could not be bothered to do all this. So for this one, you just do the algebraic division and then split it. For this one, you do what it says. And then, Next question. We have some just calculus stuff, I guess. So it tells you tells you about the stationary point. So differentiate, set to 0, substitute the value in. Get k value. Next question, find the shaded area. You just do the rectangle, like O, N, P, and then down like that. You find that rectangle, which is 48. Subtract the integral, you get that. Again, usually you should actually show the integral, but I'm not trying to do all that. Next question, some more factor theorem. Just, again, show it when you're doing it actually. Factorize completely, just do division. Part C, you have to find the value of k. You just have to substitute. Sorry, you have to substitute 1 in because it tells you that x minus 1's a factor. For the next question, this is kind of just like some more long GCSE algebraic fractions. You just factorize, put everything on the same fraction, factorize, cancel, and then you look at the answer. You can just kind of look at the answer and see what the stuff factorizes to, and then find your values. Next question. This is a new word that I learned, breadth. It just means, I searched it up, it just means width. So you do the simultaneous equations, solve the simultaneous equations, it's just some simple stuff. So you know that 2 times the length plus 2 times the breadth is greater than 32, and then the width times the length times the breadth is less than 104, and then you also know that the breadth is 5 less than the length, and then you can just substitute stuff in there, do the stuff. Part B tells you to form the quadratic inequality, where you just substitute the value you got, and then or you substitute another expression, get that, solve. And then that gives you your set of values for x. If you have 2 different, if you have x is greater than 10.5, then you have these 2 inequalities. So you say that this one overrides the x is greater than -8 because it's already there, and you just write that into one inequality. Next question, just find a counterexample to these. Well, you have to prove it if it's true, which I think like one of them is true. So here you can just find counterexamples. And then for part D, you just take away 2xy, factorize, and then say that any real square number is greater than or equal to 0. Therefore it's true. Like any square number is positive. So so it must be greater than or equal to 0, which means that this statement is true. Next question. Do the equations of the circles. Well, you can just, it already tells you, it's already in the form. This question you can kind of just do it in your head. And for part B, you sketch the circles, and sketching the exact distance between the intersections. So what you can do is you can solve simultaneous equations for the circles, but what I did is I just kind of said that the total distance between the two intersections is the distance between the x-axis and one of the points of intersections is 3 diagonally. The distance between one of the points of intersections and this diagonal bit of the x-axis is 3, and the length in between them is also 3. So you can just do Pythagoras, you can halve one of them, do Pythagoras, so that gives you the length from one of the intersections to the x-axis, and then you just double that to find the length, which is much easier than having to do with the algebra. But again, if you don't understand what I just said, then just do the algebra. It takes like 2 extra minutes. Next question, we have some functions. Write down the range, yeah, normal stuff. Find the next question for inverse, just do the factorizing stuff. It says that x is greater than 1, so you can just do the plus minus. You don't have to worry about the plus minus. Next question, show that no value of x satisfies this equation. You just substitute. It's a composite function. Do all the stuff. Do all the start algebra. Do the discriminant, and then therefore has no real roots. So firstly, we have this normal like inclined plane question. We're just going to resolve the forces. When there's a horizontal force like this, you just it's supposed to be through the thing, but I just drew it like this instead. But if you just imagine the force, you can still think about the directions. You resolve both of them, put it on your cross diagram, solve for R, solve for A. There's the question. Do the equations of motion. Next question, you just put the forces on a diagram. It's not inclined plane. You know that the T is, you know that theta is this way. Well, you know that T is to the left, because otherwise if it was to the right, then it wouldn't be in equilibrium, because there'd be no forces going to the left. Because it just says angle theta to the vertical. It doesn't say from the left of the vertical or the right of the vertical. Then you do your equations of motions. To solve these simultaneous equations, I just divided both the expressions together, or the equations together, and got tan theta equals 2/3, and then solve for T. Next question, question 3. This is quite a difficult one. I had to rub out a lot of working. It's over here. But this is just, I figured it out. So I just figured it out after a while. It's literally just the area of the segment. So, it's literally just the area of the sector divide. It's the area of the segment, sorry. Like this. So you just do half r squared theta minus sine theta. It gives you this area. And that is the answer. For B, you just substitute 5 pi over 6 and 5 pi over, you substitute 5 pi over 6, and then that's your answer. Or that's not your answer, you have to do a few more other things, but that's the main thing, and then you just simplify everything down, and then you get your answer. Next question, you have to probability, which is amazing. Find the value of n. This was just you just said that because 5/8 are children, you just say that 45 is 3/8 of the total, and then solve. Then for part B, you just find the probability that, because the only case where it's not this is when it's male adult, so it's just 1 minus that. And you get 250 from just adding all the numbers. That's just the total. Next question, we had either a female child or adult male, where it's just, so then it's 10 over 25, which is the total, and then 6 over 24 because there's one less person. Multiply that by 2 because you can do it in 2 different ways, and you get 2/5. So you could draw a tree diagram, but we're not in GCSE anymore, so you can kind of just do it in your head. Find the probability that exactly one is female and exactly one is a child. Well, what you can do here, you just find probability of female, like you can't have it cannot be a female child, otherwise the other one either wouldn't be a child, either would either be two children or two females, which defines this. So you just do the probability of the female adult and male child, and then you multiply that by the number of cases, you get 1/15, and that is your answer. I think that is the right answer. Next question, you get another inclined plane question. It's the same thing, where you have the perpendicular force, the horizontal force. Instead of not giving you the normal force and telling you the horizontal for like question 1, it gives you the normal force and tells you to find the horizontal force. Do your cross diagram with all the result forces. You have friction as well, which is, it's on the point of slipping up the plane, which means friction's going down the plane. Do your equations of motion, find mu, find h, and then to prove that it will slide down the plane now, friction will now go up, because it's asking you if it's going to slide down the plane, so you know friction's going to be going up. You get rid of all the h forces, and then you just say that you find r firstly, because there's a new contact force, and then you just say that the resultant, the net force parallel to the plane, is not 0, but because there's a net force, there is acceleration, because net force is mass times acceleration. Therefore, there is acceleration. Next question, we have this logo. I was kind of fried after doing the senior kangaroo with this question, because this is the question I started on after doing senior kangaroo, so my work might be a bit messy. But here I just used cosine rule, I think, for find the length of the chord AB. Oh, the chord AB is just oh yeah. So the chord AB. So you have this triangle, this circle, this triangle. You have the circle. You know that the radius is 5. So you know that this is 5. You know this is 5, and you know this is 4. No, sorry. Oh my god, what am I talking about? Do you know this is 5, and you know that this is 3? The radius to the top is 3, because you know this is 6, so it's just half of 3. Then you do Pythagoras, get 4. That's your answer. 4. I don't know why I didn't write the answer, but it is 4. Oh, what am I doing? Oh no, it's 8. Yeah, because that 4 is half of it, and then you multiply by 2 to get 8. Sorry. Part B. This is reverse cosine rule. This is perimeter. So firstly, I did reverse cosine rule to find the angle, and then area rule. Oh no, not area rule. I found the angle and then did L equals R theta, and found the arc lengths, and then added all of them together. I actually didn't need to find. I think it was this arc length. I didn't even need to find, but so we found the arc length of the top bit here, then added on all the lengths, and that gives you your answer. Alright, these trick questions were not the best, but let's go into them. So, firstly, this one I just converted them all into sine and cos, did the stuff, and then you get eventually you get sine squared. This step is kind of jumping a bit. So the sine squared over cos, I've added the cos to this fraction, and I've added the sine to this fraction, which is a bit confusing, but then they both turn into 1, so it's 1 over cos plus 1 over sine, which gives you sec plus cosec, so that is your answer. Next question, I just turned it all into like a bunch of fractions, which you can do like keep, change, flip, it cancels the signs out, and it just gives you sec squared. Next question, you just expand this, the 1's cancel because you have cosec times sine, and 1 times a 1, so they'll cancel, you get cosec minus sine, and then you combine the fractions, and that gives you this answer. Part E, you get, so I combine the fractions here. I think I skipped a few steps here because, no, so when you multiply these fractions together, you have cosec plus 1 plus cosec minus 1, so the 1's cancel, you get 2 cosec over this, and then you expand. Cosec squared minus 1 is cot squared, and I think that's the part that would have been difficult, and then that turns into cos of a sine reciprocal is just sine of a cos. So you get 2 cosecant sine squared over cos squared. Cancel the cosec and the sine, just get 2 sine over cos squared, and that gives you the answer of 2 sec tan. I don't even know what this symbol is, but I had fun writing it. Next question, it is difference of 2 squares. I think what I did here is I factorized cos out of... Oh yeah, so sec is... so 1 over sec squared is just cos squared, so that turns there. And then the sec squared is just 1 plus tan squared, so it's just cos squared times 1 plus tan squared minus tan squared. The tan squareds cancel out, you just get cos squared beta, and that's your answer. Next question. I hate these questions, these histogram questions. This took me a while because I forgot how to do it. And I'm probably going to figure out how to do it now, probably as well. But from what I remember, so it says that this height of this group, so that this height represents a frequency density, which means that there were 28 people in this group, and therefore you know that the frequency right, I'm already messing up here. So no, sorry. So yeah, you have 2 different rectangles here, and you're finding I did this multiplied by the scale factor, and that gave me... Yeah, so you find the scale factor between these 2 groups, because the scale factor is the same. It doesn't matter like if it's in centimeters or frequency. So this is 32, this is 28. So the scale factor is 28 over 32. Going down, the scale factor is 28 over 32. You multiply the centimeters by that, and you get the height of the rectangle, which is 16.8. Next question. Find the number of people in the age group. What did I do here? So it tells you that it's 2.7 centimeters. I have found the scale factor of that. It says... what did I do here? I already forgotten how to do this question because it sucks. So you have the dimensions here. You have 2.7 is the height, and you know that 3 is the length, because you know that a class width of 5 gives you 1 centimeter in width. So a class width of 15 will give you 3 centimeters. Therefore, oh no, it's not 3, it's 4. Sorry, this isn't right. So this is 1 centimeter is 5. This is 20. So it will be 4 centimeters. And then you multiply. So you find the area 10.8 centimeters squared, and you just say that 19.2. So the old thing here, the old height multiplied by k. What the? Oh yeah, sorry. So 19.2. And now I'm finding a scale factor between the height and the height and the frequency. The height of the old one and the frequency. So 19.2, which is this height, times k equals this frequency. Find k, and then you multiply 10.8, which is the area we've just found, by k, and that gives you the answer. Oh yeah, because you're so. All right, let me re-explain what I figured out now. So we know that this is 19.2 by 1, because this is 4. It's 4 in frequency, but it's 1 in length, because 5 years, this is 5, turns into 1 centimeter. This is 19.2 centimeters by 1 centimeter, therefore it's 19.2 centimeters squared. So the ratio between so the frequency is 32. The frequency represents the area on a histogram, and 19.2 is the area in centimeters squared. So I'm finding the scale factor from the area in centimeters to the area in frequency, and then you can apply that scale factor to this area here that we just found, and that gives you the answer. Right, sorry. I kind of had to relearn that myself in the thing because I already forgot it. But, alright, we've got an easier question now. So this is just hidden quadratic, obviously. Do the stuff, solve for x. Simple stuff. Part B, I kind of just did this all in my head because it's just solving equations. You take the ln of both sides, use power rule, and then rearrange. Next question. It's easier to set a base of, so if you're going to take the log of both sides, it's probably easier to set the base of something that you want to cancel. So I just set them both to log base 5, so the 5 cancels, so you get x log base 3 of x, so I haven't moved the x, equals 1 minus x log base 5 of 5, but the log base 5 of 5 is just 1. And then you rearrange, you get the answer. Next question. I said that, so this is just, so 2 ln 2x plus minus 1 is just 2x minus 1 squared. 1 plus ln 7 is just ln e plus ln 7, which is just ln 7e. And then you can take the lns away and then solve this quadratic. There's no way you can do this normally because you have an e in the thing. You have an irrational number, so you're not going to be able to do any factorizing. And that is your answer. Alright, we're back to histograms, which is amazing. So it's saying that we have these heights of primary school students, and we have this class width has a frequency of 72, and it has a base of 4.2 and a height of 9. So we know the base is always the frequency. So, the base is always the class width, of a histogram. So 10 is the class width, and 4.2 is the base. So I've just said there's a scalar, 10 times kb, so just the scalar of the base equals 4.2. So I found that scalar, and then I found a scalar for the height as well. So 7.2 is the 7.2 is a frequency density because it's frequency over class width. So 72 over 10. 7.2 equals k times 9. So the scalar for the height is 0.8. Then now we have this scalar. We can, if it has base 2.1 for a different class width, we can multiply it by the scalar. We can multiply the 8 by this scalar to get the new, to get it in terms of, instead of in terms of being centimeters, in terms of class width and frequency density, and then you multiply them, you get the frequency, and then that's your answer. Oh my god. Next question. We have another table. So we have like a horrible question. We have, in the same question, we have the histogram stuff from earlier and interpolation in the same question. But anyway, this was quite actually easy because you just say that the scalar, you find the scalar, as I said earlier, and then what have I done? Yeah, and you just, because the scalar is 1, so yeah, 7k equals 7, therefore k equals 1, and the class width here is 3, 28, 29, 30, so the frequency density is 4/3, multiply 4/3 by 1, you get 4/3, so that's your answer. Estimate the median of the data, so this is just interpolation. You just have to get used to it, and then this last part you put in the calculator to get your answer. Next question, we have some not stats finally. So this is actually quite a difficult project. I'd say this is probably the most difficult question on the assignment. So first you write all the stuff into that. It's weird because you have the acceleration and gravity. A and G are both part of the same. If the initial velocity, which doesn't really that wouldn't make sense in a real life scenario. You just kind of have to run with it. So you write down all the do that stuff. You do the normal stuff you usually do, where you do S equals UT, where A is 0 on the horizontal. Solve for T. Then on the vertical, you do S equals UT plus half AT squared. But then you substitute the T in, which I've done here. Everything cancels. You get all this stuff. You get this in terms of, you have to see that this one, remember that 1 over cos squared is sec squared, which is 1 plus tan squared, which means you can replace that with tan. This is kind of the step that, like, from going from how do I get to tan to, oh, I have tan, and then everything simplifies down eventually to give you this quadratic. Next question, you find the two angles, or to be fair, you could just use the trig ratios instead. But it is much more annoying. So you do, here you use the previous expression you got for t up here, this one, from S equals ut, where A is 0, and you substitute, oh my god, you substitute cos theta, you substitute theta into it, and you get the two values. So this is the 48, this is the 4/5 root 30 of A over G, and then this is the 2/5 root 195 A over G. Alright, yeah, difficult question. Alright, next question, we have this scalene triangle. So the normal way to do this would be to to find the magnitude of all three of the vectors, or find the magnitude of all three sides. and then do reverse cosine rule, and then do every triangle rule. But instead, I used the cross product, the determinant cross products instead, which you don't have to know. So don't worry about that. So don't worry about my method here. Just do it. Just do it with all the trig. Yeah, it takes longer. But so if you want to know how to do it with the cross product, you just get the vectors, put them in a matrix, find the determinant of the 3 by 3 matrix, and then find the modulus of find the magnitude of it. But you don't have to worry about that yet until second year. So we'll go to the next question. So we have this weird projectile question where it's being shot 15 downwards. It's being shot 15 degrees downwards from the horizontal. It's a bit of a bad diagram that I did because I showed the projectile not moving where I shot it, but this is the horizontal, this dotted line. And the angle should be going to the horizontal, not to the path of flight. But it's just normal stuff. You write all the stuff down, you get way too much information, so you can just solve for t, use this, get the values, all the values you want. And then you find the distance AB by getting the horizontal distance, and you already have the vertical distance, so you need to find the horizontal distance and then do Pythagoras, and that gives you the distance. Next question, so we have the classic large data set question. So you should now remember that multiplying by 1.15 is how you go from knots to miles per hour, and then dividing by multiplying by 20 over 23 is how you go from miles per hour to knots. And that's going to be it for today. Hope you enjoyed that very boring assignment, and I'll see you next week.